You know, 99% of Muslims in Afghanistan want Sharia law. Yeah, he mentioned Muslims run. He mentioned Muslims run. Why am I here today? I'm just here to do a report, it's probably the same as you guys, to report that a Sudanese migrant who was already illegal in Germany, who should have been deported, should have been detained, has gone on a butchering spree and stabbed a lady 23 times, killing her, leaving an orphan child. And the reason I'm coming to say that is because we knew this was going to happen. This is going to happen again. I don't want another British woman to be murdered. I don't want 7 raped this week by migrants in hotels, 12-year-old girls getting kidnapped off the street, our daughters. Now, the government's job, are we right? The government's job, first and foremost, is to protect British citizens. Well, you can protect British citizens by locking up these migrants who you don't know nothing about. We don't know what crimes they've committed. Do you know there was a case in Bournemouth? A case in Bournemouth where a man come in, he said he was 15, they put him in a school. When he gets to 21, he stabs a Royal Marine to death in the town centre. They then find out that he wasn't 21, he was 25, which means when he come into school, he was actually 19. So he got put in school. When he was in school, there was problems of sexual harassment against the girls. Then when he murders a Royal Marine, they find out that he'd shot 2 people dead in Serbia with an AK-47. So he shoots people dead with an AK-47, comes into our country, gets housed in our kids' school, sits next to our daughters, and then murders a Royal Marine. That's one case. One case should have been enough. That was the warning about Rhiannon. There's been 1,000 warnings like Rhiannon, and there's going to be more. Why should anyone else lose their daughter? The government's job, protect British citizens first and foremost. That's it. Not protect Sudanese, not protect Iraqis, not protect Pakistanis, protect British citizens. But we hear so much about human rights. What about their human rights? What about that family in there who've just lost their daughter? What about that little baby who's got no mum? What about his rights? What about his rights to have a mother? What about their right to a family life? Have you heard? I just heard from that family who the other cousin has had to take, their son hasn't been at school for a year because migrants have been put in the hotel next to the school and they're terrorising the school. This is going on across the whole country, in every single town and city. So you're about to see a political revolution in this country with Reform coming in 12 months and winning the election. Why? Why across Europe are right-wing, what you'd call far right? You're probably going to describe me as far right. Can I ask you, am I far right?
That's not for me to say.
Okay, but you will say it. You do say it. Your channel says it. In fact, let's have a look. I'll bring it up now. ITV Tommy Robinson, I bet it says far right. And then I'll ask you, because you're the reporter for ITV, please tell me which one of my policies make me far right.
I'm not a reporter, I'm a producer.
You're a producer, so you're the producer. Which one of my policies make me far right? Please.
No, you're not interviewing me.
Can I tell you, but why? I'm a journalist, I'm interviewing you. What one of my policies make me far right?
I'm not answering that.
Do you know what you do as a journalist? You know what you do as a media? Charlie Kirk, you've done it too, yeah? I'm not saying you individually, so I'm sorry if I'm having a go at you. I'm on about the broader channel, the mainstream media, the globalist corporate media. You put a target on Charlie Kirk. You called him fascist, you called him extreme. He was a liberal, he was a moderate, yeah? He's been murdered. You put a target on us. Individual people, while I walk down the street, because of lies told in your newspapers and your channels, they think we're far right. They think we're racist. There's nothing racist about us. There's nothing far right about us. None of my views are far right. In fact, my views are liberal in the reasons I oppose the Islamisation of this country. The subjugation, the violence. Do you know what the legal age for sex is and marriage? Do you know what legal age for marriage is in Sudan? So this scumbag who just murdered her, do you know in his country how old you have to be married? 10 years old. 10 years old or 11 years old. So these men are marrying an 11-year-old and then the next week they're next to our schools. They're next to our schools. And as the mainstream media, your job is to warn the British public about danger. Well, you need to be warning them. Because every one of these countries, you know, 99% of Muslims in Afghanistan want Sharia law. Yeah, he mentioned Muslims run. He mentioned Muslims run.